fight, shining a light where the shadows creep, for the lost, the stolen, the ones who will weep. She won't turn away, she won't back down, even when the loony clowns come round. Threats don't shake her, lies don't win. She stands for justice, right till the end. Want the truth, want the best, wanna be safe as you chat. Find kids true crime, it's worth your time. She's got your back, she's on the line. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok too, Facebook stream, she'll fight for you. Some chase fame, some chase views, but she fights for those with nothing to lose. For the kids who vanish without a trace, she won't stop till she cracks the case. They try to silence, they try to scare, but truth don't break and she's still there, calling out monsters, showing their game. Justice comes when you speak their name. Want the truth, want the best, wanna be safe as you chat. Find kids true crime, it's worth your time. She's got your back, she's on the line. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok too, Facebook stream, she'll fight for you. So if you're lost or need a voice, kids stand strong, she makes the choice. For victims gone, for those in need, she's fighting hard, she won't concede. Want the truth, want the best, wanna be safe as you chat. Find kids true crime, it's worth your time. She's got your back, she's on the line. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok too, Facebook streams, she'll fight for you. At the end of the day, this is all we have to say. Viper will always have her back, he will take you right in the sack.
Hello, my precious. How you doing? Hello, Misty. How you doing? Hi, people in the bushes. How you doing? All right. This is what's up here. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Shoot. It's supposed to be Virginia. Okay, it happens. Mistakes happen, people. I'm not perfect. All right. We are going to talk about Antoinette, Frank, and Virginia Caudill. Okay. I don't know. Have you guys heard of them? I have. But so these are the only women on death row in Kentucky. That's where Antoinette is. And no. Virginia's in Kentucky. Yes. Sorry. My bad. And Antoinette is in Louisiana. Gosh. Are you cleaning out your truck or trunk? Hi, how you doing? This set of videos really fascinating. I've seen them. Oh, can't wait until Texas. Oh gosh, I'm telling you. Let me tell you, I'm almost done. Okay, we've done Ohio, we've done Alabama, we've done Arizona, Ohio, and these two states, and then we got Idaho and another. But the rest are Texas and California. Do you know how many Texas and California? There's like 20 altogether. Oh, you should see my car. You know what was up. You know what was going on with me, right? Do you remember? I got my grandkids. I had my grandkids. They came to my house yesterday. And then I went to, today, we all went to the mall, with the family, and went to the mall. And like we walk around for 3 hours long, people. Three. I'm a grandma. Boy, let me tell you, I was working up a sweat. But it was nice. Now they're gone. And there's that. Okay, let's get to this. Hold on. I got to get something. Hold on. This is really good here. Okay, can you guys hear me? I'm having issues. Okay, can you guys hear me? I'm having issues. Okay. Well, this ain't good, so I had to get the headphones, right? And somehow it got, okay, your chair, like your office chair, and the wheel, it got stuck in there. And I almost ripped, there's some wires hanging, but hey, we're good. We're good, people. All right, now, both of these ladies, these are high profile in their states, right? So let's go to, let's see. Okay, let's go to Virginia. Here's her offender information right here. All right. See how we look. You know what? Yeah, this is all right. Hold on, people. All right, so what does it say here about her? Let's look here. That's what she looks like right now, people. That's what she looks like right now. Okay. All right. Okay, so she got there 3:31. Isn't that odd, people? People, you can't tell me this ain't odd. Every time I do these people, it's either when they got sentenced, right, or in court, or when they committed the crime. Look at it. We're in March. We're in March. All right. So, in 2000, let's see. These are the other names she went by. She's charged with unaliving somebody, first degree robbery, burglary, arson, tampering with physical. Oh, she's getting in trouble in the. Hold on a minute. Is she getting in trouble in the prison? See, yeah, she's getting in trouble. Oh, tampering physical evidence. Never mind. Never mind. So there's that. Okay, now I'm going to look at the chat here real quick. Wonderful. Okay, we will just go through really quick what she did. Because, you guys, guess what? I found some shows that they were on. Yes, I did. Okay. Is this? Hold on a minute. Yep. Okay. This is Virginia. Okay. Okay. So it actually was um, Virginia and oh God, what's the dude's name? Maybe they'll say in here. Her and that guy, they both got this. Oh, here he is. Jonathan Wayne Goreforth. Okay. And they unalived Lunetta White. And what they did, they took a hammer to the head in her home, put the body in the trunk, and started the car on fire. They stole her property. Okay, they admitted that they were present at the White's home when it occurred, but each accused the other of the actual crime. Caudill, Virginia, we'll call her, claimed that she went to ask White, the mother of her estranged boyfriend, for money, and that Goforth unexpectedly forced his way into the house and attacked White. Goforth claimed that he accompanied Virginia to White's house, and when White refused to give her money, she began attacking the woman. Both admitted to assisting in the removal of her body from her home to the burning of her body and the vehicle. Jesus. Eventually, the pair fled to Florida, New Orleans, before being arrested in Mississippi. Good old Mississippi. Okay, they were tried jointly. Each of them was convicted of murder, burglary in the first degree, robbery in the first degree, arson in the second, and tampering with physical evidence. Each received the death penalty. So there's that. But like I said, this is big news in. Is this Claudia here? Or why do I want to call her Claudia? No, this is what she looks like now. Yeah, I mean, this was 25 years ago. Okay, we're going to look into. Now, this is interesting because in February, they were trying to get a court date or a execution date. Now, look at this. Somebody don't want to sign it. See what it says here? Hold on.
The only woman on death row does not have a scheduled execution date yet, but that could soon change. Back in 1995, Frank murdered her partner, NOPD officer Ronald Williams, and the owners of a Vietnamese restaurant in New Orleans East during a violent armed robbery.
This ain't good, people.
It took a jury less than 30 minutes to convict her and less than 1 hour to sentence her to death. Attorney General Liz Murrow says Frank's execution should be scheduled as soon as possible.
I think that it's one of the handful of cases where they've exhausted all of their post-conviction relief and we can set the date. I have asked the district attorney to let me know where he stands on whether he's going to move to have the court set the date for her execution, and then she would be added to the list of those that are set. If Jason doesn't want to do it, then I will.
Frank is the last person given a death sentence in the city of New Orleans.
The thing about that, the guy does not, like the attorney general was saying, the prosecutor or whoever, district attorney, don't want to sign it. She wants to get the job done, people. Okay, let's look at, who Antoinette is, okay? Her and a man, right? Some dude. There were cops, mind you, these are cops. Okay, they were like I don't know if they're dating or not, but they were cops, and they committed robbery and they unalived 4 people. That's what they did. No, that ain't it. Hold on. We're going to watch that in a minute. I want to get to... All right. Here we go. Let's look at this. Let's just get the facts here. That's what we want. So we know what they did. Hold on a minute. There we go. All right, what did she do? Well, I pretty much told you what she did. Let's see. Facts of the case. In 1995, okay, in the early morning hours of March 4th, 1995, at a restaurant in New Orleans East, the facts are which set forth. Antoinette, a New Orleans police officer who is defendant, and how do you say his last name? Lacaze, Rogers Lacaze, was arrested for the crime the day later. The victims were Ronald Williams, an off-duty New Orleans police officer, performing security detail that evening at the restaurant, and Ha and Chung Vu, two members of the family that owned the restaurant. I think these were kids. If I remember right, it was the owners of the restaurant's kids. Two members of the family that owned the restaurant. Yeah, it's the kids. Okay, sorry guys. I'm not saying they're little kids. They were like, I think they were 20 and 21. Okay, on April 28th, the grand jury indicted them on 3 counts of first-degree unaliving. Lacaze was tried separately. He was found guilty as charged. He was sentenced to the DP. And same for Antoinette. Can you believe that? Police officers. No, this is what I want to say. A lot of people that we see on death row, as we've been looking into this people, are people that harm children, okay, and unalive law enforcement. Now, this is kind of weird because you got 2 law enforcement people that unalived people. Crazy. Okay, this is what I want to know. Do we want to watch the new detectives that Virginia's in? Or do we want to watch, mind you, these are older, the show with Antoinette? Which one? Antoinette or Virginia? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Lacaze. Okay. Okay. We will do Antoinette. Look how pretty she is. I don't know if she looks like that right now, but in Louisiana, it's very strange. You don't get their mugshot. It's so weird. You get the Vine link. Well, big deal. There ain't nothing there. Right? I don't know. They're different. All right. Here we go. Now, mind you, people, we're going to see. If the stream goes away, don't go nowhere. I'll be right back. Just so you know. Okay, this is about Antoinette. All right, here we go.
A dedicated police officer claims she bore witness to a horrifying slaughter in a local restaurant.
Young innocent people killed. A police officer's down. A pool of blood.
But when investigators dig into the evidence, they'll uncover how a chance meeting put 2 people on a path to destruction.
He was already on a bad criminal trajectory, and she was a ticking time bomb.
It was like a Bonnie and Clyde cosmic explosion.
Detectives reveal how a twisted tale of lies and obsession led to a cop's ultimate betrayal.
It's so sinister that even hardcore New Orleans residents were stunned.
What is going on here? Hold on a minute. What? You guys.
March 4th, 1995, 2 a.m. 23-year-old police officer Antoinette Frank speeds through East New Orleans. Although off duty, she's just received a report of a violent crime in progress. An armed robbery at the Kim An Vietnamese restaurant. 3 victims have been gunned down. The perpetrator is still at large.
Oh,
Adrenaline flowing, Antoinette rushes to the scene.
you guys, I did. I broke my. Oh my God. Hold on. You guys, I did. I broke my. Oh my God. Oh my God. You guys, I did. I broke my headphones. Unreal. I hear the music, but there's no voice. There's like squeaky little voices. So yeah, okay, here we go. We're gonna try this again.
The emotions that run through you, the excitement that runs through you is at atomic speed. It just comes at you so fast. It's a rush of emotions. It's a rush of, I'm going to go do something good here. I'm going to get there. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to do something.
This is what Antoinette lives for. Ever since she was a young girl, she has dreamed of being a cop. Born in the small town of Opelousas, Louisiana, Antoinette Frank is from a poor, dysfunctional home. By the time she's 13, her older brother has already been arrested for armed robbery and attempted manslaughter. Her father, a Vietnam War veteran, offers little love and affection. Antoinette's options appear limited, but she's determined to make a better life for herself.
Antoinette Frank's story was a sort of typical pick yourself up by your own bootstraps type story. She had a goal. She wanted to be a New Orleans police officer, and she worked towards that goal all through her teen years and into her early 20s. I mean, that was her dream.
Antoinette is so keen to join the New Orleans Police Department that she applies the moment she's legally eligible, the day of her 20th birthday. Her enthusiasm wins her a place at the police academy. Within weeks, she's patrolling the streets of New Orleans as one of the youngest cops in the NOPD.
They believed that they really found a good recruit in Antoinette Frank. They were very happy with her. She brought a good perspective to the police department.
Now, 15 months after her graduation, Officer Frank races to a multiple homicide at the Kim On restaurant, determined to get there before her colleagues. But she's not the only cop to respond to the 911 call. Just minutes after Frank's arrival, more police show up at the restaurant. The moment they step inside, it's clear it's the scene of a horrific crime. On the floor lies the body of a security guard. He's been shot 3 times. His wounds suggest that his murderer cold-bloodedly gunned him down when the guard's back was turned. But that's not the most shocking detail. Officers recognize the victim. He's a fellow cop.
They see one of their own. It's almost the same as seeing your sister or your brother there, because you get incredibly close to people. It's now incredibly real.
The murdered officer is Ronnie Williams. Off duty, he worked security at the restaurant to help support his family. 10 days ago, he celebrated the birth of his second child. Now he lies dead in a pool of blood.
Police officers get a little bit hardened to murder some people because they see it all the time, but it's a very close-knit fraternity, and when you see one of your own lying there shot dead, it really hurts, and it makes you really want to find the person who did that.
But Williams' bullet-riddled body is not the only shock in store for detectives. Out back, there's more carnage.
When they made their way into the kitchen, 2 more bodies, a pool of blood.
It was 2 family members side by side, clearly shot execution style, point blank range, shot in the back of the head.
The bodies belong to 24-year-old Ha Vu and her brother Kwon, aged 17.
Young, innocent people killed. They work in the family business restaurant, and someone comes in and annihilates them.
The victims have been shot twice in the head. Clear evidence of a double tap. 2 shots fired in rapid succession into the target. It's an advanced shooting technique and suggests the Vus were killed by a trained professional.
When you have execution style, when you have that amount of deliberate violence, it sends some chills up your spine. It makes you, wonder who could possibly do such a thing.
And what reason might they have to murder 2 restaurant workers and a cop moonlighting as a security guard? Fortunately for investigators, there's a witness. The moment police arrived at the scene, a distressed woman burst out of the restaurant.
She ran to the front door, threw it open, charged outside, and fortunately ran right into the arms of police officers.
Her name is Chow Vu, sister to the pair of murdered siblings lying in the kitchen. She's hysterical, and it's soon clear why. During the murders, Chow hid with her brother in the restaurant's walk-in refrigerator and heard Ha and Quang Vu's execution.
It must have been horrible. Be hiding in the cooler and realize that your brother and sister were being murdered right on the other side of the door.
But investigators' hopes for information about the shooter's identity are quickly dashed. The distraught Chow Vu is struggling for words.
They couldn't understand what she was saying because she wasn't speaking English. In her fright or her shock, she reverted back to her native Vietnamese, and she wouldn't speak anything but Vietnamese, so they had no idea what was going on.
But then the situation changes. It turns out there's another witness. Following Chow Vu out of the restaurant is off-duty police officer Antoinette Frank.
She burst out of the front door. Now, none of them recognized her, even though she was a fellow police officer. And then she started shouting that she was a police officer, so they relaxed. They're thinking, well, we have, at least one victim who's alive. We have a police officer who's also alive, who was probably a witness.
Her determination to be first on the scene has paid off. She claims she saw the perpetrators.
We train police officers, so when they become an eyewitness, their brain is working the same way. What was the direction of flight? What was the color of clothes? What was the size description? Was there anything unique about the person?
I saw 3 men in ski masks.
Antoinette states when she approached the restaurant, she saw 3 disguised armed males inside the building. They escaped through the front door and drove off in a dark-colored car. She herded the 2 survivors, Chow Vu and her brother Kwok, out the back door to safety. Frank's statement is a solid lead from a fellow cop. Investigators leap into action.
Once the police put that description of the suspects in a possible car over the radio, a nearby patrol car found a car that roughly matched that description. Police pulled that car over, searched the occupants, searched the car, and at this point they're thinking, well, hey, maybe we found the killers.
But police are about to be disappointed. They find no guns or ski masks anywhere in the vehicle. The driver has a clean record and has nothing to do with the murder. The lead is a dead end. This means somewhere out there in New Orleans, in the dead of night, dangerous killers are still on the loose. New Orleans police investigate a gruesome triple murder at the Kim An restaurant. 2 members of the Vu family and Ronnie Williams, the cop they employ part-time for security, have been gunned down in cold blood. Detectives begin the search for clues that might explain why the massacre occurred and who's responsible.
Questions, how? That's what people mostly say when you interview people right after a murder. If I'm the police chief, what am I going to do? If I'm the lead detective, what am I going to do? If I'm the homicide unit, what are we going to do?
Investigators examine the restaurant. In the kitchen, they recover their first pieces of evidence. Beside the bodies of Quang and Ha, they find 9mm shell casings. Each is marked with the manufacturer's stamp, and all were fired from a single weapon.
The police found a dozen or so 9mm shell casings. Ballistic testing showed that the same weapon was used in all 3 homicides.
But the shell casings offer no clue as to motive, so investigators take a closer look at cop Ronnie Williams' body. He's missing his wallet, a detail that suggests the massacre was financially motivated.
In the police officer's mind, this is a robbery gone horribly bad.
To verify their hunch, detectives turn to the person who claims armed thieves are responsible for the murders. NOPD officer Antoinette Frank. She knows the Vu's restaurant enjoyed a healthy turnover because, like Ronnie Williams, when off duty, she worked for the family business.
Like a lot of other officers, when she finished her regular shift on patrol, she would work extra duty as a security officer.
But Antoinette is more than a part-time employee. Her services have earned the Vu's respect. She's considered a friend and regularly socializes at the restaurant.
Well, isn't that crazy? So she knew these people.
The Vus trusted Antoinette Frank with their very lives. She was protecting the restaurant. She was their guardian angel. She almost was like a member of the family, according to the Vus.
Antoinette's standing with the family, and her cop credentials mark her out as a potentially first-class witness. But not everyone at the crime scene shares that opinion. Chow, one surviving Vu family member, appears terrified of Officer Frank.
She just clung to this female officer the whole time. And anytime Antoinette Frank got close, Chow Vu would shy away from her.
Chow's behavior puzzles investigators. Why is she afraid of the cop who saved her? She offers up an explanation. What she has to say stuns investigators. Chow claims the officer did not rescue her and her brother from masked gunmen. Antoinette Frank was the one who pulled the trigger. Chow's testimony is a bombshell. How could a cop be responsible for the massacre? It doesn't make any sense.
Either she was mistaken, or they were mistaken, or there was some kind of language barrier that was preventing them from getting the true story, because there's no way they were going to believe that a police officer had been involved in a robbery and murder and then had also shot in just cold blood another police officer.
Who is telling the truth?
You have two people with two completely different stories. We have someone who's totally hysterical and not communicating either from hysteria or from English barrier, and you have an off-duty officer and they're telling you two completely different things.
Police delve deeper and soon find inconsistencies in Antoinette Frank's account. She claims she saved the Vus from deadly masked robbers.
She said that when the shooting was going on, she managed to push Chow and Quoc Vu out the back door and essentially save their lives.
But detectives discover the back door is locked from the inside.
How could the back door be locked from the inside if Antoinette Frank saved two of the Vu kids and pushed them out the back door and then went out with them? Some of it just wasn't making sense.
And there's another puzzling detail: Antoinette Frank's own strange behavior. While officers document the crime scene, she breaks strict police procedure by re-entering the kitchen to look at the bodies.
One of the officers noticed Antoinette Frank inside the restaurant, kind of walking around looking dazed, and he even shouted at her, you look like a caged rat, what are you doing?
Holes are appearing in Officer Frank's version of events. Could Chow's accusation that Frank was involved in the murders be true? Investigators need to corroborate her story. And it's now they get a lucky break. Someone else witnessed the murders. Chow's brother Quoc comes forward with information. During the attack, he hid with Chow inside the restaurant's walk-in refrigerator. He made the 911 call to police, reporting the shootings. Quoc's account backs up everything his sister has said.
Just come out.
He knows exactly who pulled the trigger. The murderer is Officer Antoinette Frank.
They reach a tipping point where, okay, we're not misunderstanding this. Antoinette Frank is, in fact, a murder suspect. The killer was right there among all the police officers.
At 3:53 a.m., Antoinette Frank is arrested on suspicion of murder.
The officers handcuffed her and formally advised her that she was being arrested and read her rights.
With Frank in custody, detectives sweep her property for evidence linking her to the triple homicide. In her car, they make a critical discovery: a single 9mm shell casing carrying the manufacturer's stamp. It's the same brand of ammunition found at the crime scene. Strong evidence Frank was in the restaurant at the time of the murders. And the double tap used to execute the victims is another link to the officer. Many cops are trained in the technique to stop criminals in their tracks.
Officers are taught to shoot until the threat is gone, and the bullets were well placed.
But the revelations don't end there. Eyewitness Quoc Vu adds one more mysterious and chilling detail. Officer Frank didn't act alone. She had an accomplice. Someone an officer of the law should never have been with at all. When detectives search for his identity, they'll uncover a toxic cocktail of obsession, greed, and jealousy that fuels one of NOPD's finest on a course bound for murder.
When they got together, it was like a Bonnie and Clyde cosmic explosion.
New Orleans, 1994.
So actually, who knows how many people have lost their lives because of them. This is crazy.
Investigators search for a suspect who aided police officer Antoinette Frank in committing a brutal triple homicide at the Vu family restaurant.
The police wanted to get the accomplice in custody as soon as possible because this person presents a clear and present danger while they're out on the street.
They turn to their prime witness, Quoc Vu, a man who knows the accomplice's identity. He saw him in the restaurant during the shootings. At the station, police show him photographs of possible suspects. One face leaps out. It's someone the police know well. Rogers Lacaze.
He's a criminal. He wants to be a hardcore gangster. He's really too young to be a hardcore gangster at that point, but certainly he had aspirations for that.
Quoc is certain. He's the one who helped Officer Frank murder his brother and sister. When investigators retrace Lacaze's movements on the night of March 5th, they uncover strong evidence that he is involved in the triple homicide. Detectives discover he filled up with fuel shortly after the murders. He paid using a card belonging to the slain security guard, off-duty cop Ronnie Williams.
They were able to put Rogers Lacaze at that gas station with Ronnie Williams' credit card 45 minutes after the murders.
The only way Lacaze could have got his hands on the card is by taking it from Williams' corpse, meaning he was at the crime scene with Antoinette Frank, just as Quoc Vu said. What was Frank doing fraternizing with a convicted criminal? Police delve into the mystery and soon discover Frank and Lacaze are no casual acquaintances. They share a twisted relationship. 5 months before the murders, a street shooting over drugs sends one guy to the morgue and another to the hospital. Officer Frank is sent to question the wounded man.
Hello, Mr. Lacaze.
This is when she first sets eyes on the person who will become her partner in crime.
When she sat down beside the bed, started taking notes and listening to his story about what happened, some kind of spark happened. They hit it off.
Frank feels sympathy for the young hoodlum's situation.
That's what we need your help.
She may have seen a little bit of her own background in there. Here was a troubled kid. He was 18 at the time. She had family members who had been in trouble with the law.
Lacaze laps up the doting police officer's attention.
Mr. Lacaze.
From Rogers Lacaze's perspective, all of a sudden here's this attractive young woman police officer who's taking a personal interest in him. She's reaching out to me, person to person, so to speak. He probably really thought he won the lottery.
That's really nice. You can hold it.
Lacaze also recognizes the power that comes with Frank's police badge. At the same time, Frank finds his gangster swagger attractive. It's the start of an obsessive and destructive relationship. The couple hang out together all the time, even when Officer Frank is on duty. They're so wrapped up in one another that Frank begins openly flouting strict NOPD rules.
It reached the point where he was riding around with her in her police car. And one police officer told me that when he saw Rogers Lacaze driving a police car, he assumed that Rogers must be a detective or narcotics or some logical explanation for it because it was just so out of bounds.
Hey, bro, you remember me?
Frank's infatuation with Lacaze even leads her to deliberately obstruct justice. When a fellow police officer witnesses Lacaze beating down a rival, she takes the gangster's side.
She realized that by having the position of police officer, having a badge and a gun, she could get away with a lot.
It's clear. Their combination of personalities placed the pair on a dangerous downward spiral.
They sort of magnified each other's worst qualities. He was already on a bad criminal trajectory, and she was a ticking time bomb.
Separately, I guess they were relatively harmless, but when they got together, some kind of toxic relationship between the two.
Now, just a few months after meeting Lacaze, Antoinette Frank is a murder suspect. She claims she'd always wanted to be a cop and serve her community. If true, why did she throw away her ambitions and instead follow a path leading to murder? It turns out, the clues were there all along. As part of her application to the NOPD, Frank underwent psychological testing. Dr. Philip Scuria assessed the candidate. From the moment she entered the room, it was clear she intended to make a big impression.
Most people that came in for the interview were dressed kind of business casual, you know, not jeans or shorts, but certainly slacks and a nice top or maybe even a sports coat. Antoinette was dressed very, almost provocatively. She was in almost a cocktail kind of dress that was, I thought, somewhat inappropriate, like she was going to a party, not like she was going to an interview to determine whether she could be admitted to police academy.
Frank topped off her dramatic entrance with boasts of how close she was to important people in the NOPD.
She immediately began to drop the names of people that she knew in the police department, like that was going to have a positive influence on me. I think it's manipulative. I mean, everybody's manipulative to a degree, but Antoinette took it to a degree that was past the point of being a healthy coping skill.
When Scuria probed her for honesty, she tripped up spectacularly. Her answers revealed she's a liar.
I knew that she had been fired from a store in her hometown, and she emphatically told me that she had never had any trouble on a job and had never been fired.
Frank's flat-out lie concerned Scuria. He also knew she'd failed earlier NOPD tests designed to weed out officers with low levels of tolerance and empathy.
The concern with the police department is that if you had a number of these less desirable character traits, that they would be magnified in your work as a police officer and would hinder your ability to be an effective officer. There was no doubt in my mind when she left that she didn't have the psychological makeup to be a good police officer.
Thank you.
Scuria recommended to the NOPD that Frank was not a suitable candidate for law enforcement. Her reaction to the news confirmed just how volatile and calculating she could be. She wrote a suicide note, but the very next day behaved as if nothing had happened.
Usually those kinds of notes are manipulations of the people around them. Either they're angry and want to get back at somebody or want to engender some type of sympathy or attention from somebody else.
The psychiatrist's assessment and Frank's suicide note stunt should have ended her chances of being a police officer. But her boasts about her connections were not idle chit-chat. Allegedly, influential people she knew did pull strings to have Frank admitted into the NOPD, unaware that they were being misled.
I think she manipulated the system and that she had the ability to almost be a chameleon, to change herself to whatever she felt like she needed at the time, which to me was part of the pathology that I failed her for.
Geez, did you see that look? Mind you, there is different shows about her, but I chose this one. Okay, talk about games. Yeah, right?
And now, 3 years later, Frank continues to demonstrate that she's still a manipulative liar. At the station, she sticks to her story about the massacre at the Kim An restaurant.
It was me who did it. I can tell you that.
They had her in an interrogation room and were talking to her, and she tried to maintain her earlier story that she just happened upon the robbery, that she saved everybody's life. She didn't miss the opportunity to plug herself as a hero.
Detectives know Frank is not telling the truth. They confront her with the VU's witness testimony, claiming she is responsible for the slaughter. Caught out, Frank makes an extraordinary U-turn.
The whole thing was his idea.
She says it was Rogers Lacaze's plan to rob the restaurant. Things got out of hand, and he shot the VUs.
I think that fits perfectly into the sociopathic part of her personality, in that she's willing to do anything to blame anybody else, to hurt anybody else in order to get herself out of trouble. And she doesn't care what it does to the other person.
But what Antoinette Frank doesn't know is that police have an ace up their sleeve. They have apprehended her accomplice, and he's very willing to tell his side of the story.
It was Frank. It was Frank.
Rogers Lacaze claims Frank attacked the restaurant on her own. Her motive? Revenge. Frank was desperate for money. She asked the Vus for extra shifts working security. They told her she was out of luck. They'd already assigned the work to Officer Ronnie Williams. The rejection festered in Frank's mind. She reasoned that if the Vus weren't going to let her earn their money, she'd take it and teach them a lesson. Under questioning, Lacaze denies any involvement in the murder. He says he never even set foot in the restaurant.
Rogers had said that Antoinette left him in the car and gave him a handgun and said, only use this if you need to, and then she went in the restaurant, and Rogers says that he stayed in the car.
Detectives now have two versions of events. Who, if either, should they believe?
Essentially, it's a he said, she said situation. They're both pointing the finger and saying the other person killed everybody.
Detectives go back to Frank. They confront her with Lacaze's account of what happened. She takes it in and tells detectives a completely new story about how the shooting went down.
Well, he put a gun to my head.
She murdered Ha and Quang Vu, but only because Lacaze forced her to.
I mean, the detectives are just stunned. She finally admitted that she shot Ha and Quang Vu, but she said Rogers Lacaze put a gun to her head and made her do it.
So what would you do if someone was there with a gun to your head?
The seemingly unbreakable bond that once joined cop and criminal is shattered forever. Incredibly, even after confessing she committed murder under duress, Frank is unable to grasp the severity of her crime.
At the end of the interview process, when she's admitted to murdering Ha and Quang Vu, then she asked one of the detectives, is she going to lose her job? She really didn't show any emotion. She didn't show any sign of remorse, even after she had admitted to murdering two people. One of the detectives described her as the coldest person he had ever met. This kind of indicates that she's totally divorced from reality.
The NOPD formally charges Frank and Lacaze with multiple homicide. But what really happened that fateful night at the Kim An restaurant? The stage is set for the dramatic trial of the killer cop and her gangster sidekick, and the full story of how a twisted obsession led to murder. New Orleans, Louisiana. The separate trials of disgraced cop Antoinette Frank and her accomplice Rogers Lacaze begin. Prosecutors outline the shocking sequence of events that turned a trusted cop into a cold-blooded killer. March 3rd, 1995, 11:45 p.m. Off-duty officer Antoinette Frank and Rogers Lacaze dine out at the Kim An restaurant. She asks restaurant employee Chow Vu for extra shifts working security, but she's out of luck. Chow explains Frank's fellow cop, Ronnie Williams, has already been assigned the work.
I'm sorry, we're all fully staffed.
She is furious. Why did the Vus give her work to someone else?
Antoinette really felt like that the rules shouldn't apply to her. The fact that she was passed over for this extra work probably was very hurtful to her and maybe even insulting.
To make matters even worse, she knows the Vus are going to pay her colleague that very night, money that should have been in her pocket. Frank is now livid and simmers with rage.
That might have been the pinprick that burst the balloon or caused the bomb to go off.
Angered by what she perceives as Chow's disrespect, Antoinette Frank plots her revenge.
She knew that there was payday, she knew there was cash on hand, and I think that they knew that there was more than $10,000 in cash.
If the Vus won't give her the money, she's going to take it. 1:40 a.m. The Kim An restaurant is closed for the night. Chow Vu sees a car pull up outside. A visitor at this hour makes her feel uneasy.
Something about the headlights that late at night spooked her, and she went to the front door to double check to make sure it was locked, and her key was missing. Chow Vu had to have a sense that something bad was about to happen because she took the money that she had been counting, scooped it up, and stuffed it in the microwave oven.
Chow's hunch is correct. Frank enters. And the surprised Ronnie Williams asks her what she's doing there. It's a fatal mistake.
I doubt he ever had any awareness that he was in mortal danger, because what I think happened is Roger Lacaze came into the restaurant maybe 30 seconds behind Antoinette Frank and shot Officer Ronald Williams in the back of the head and then in the back. Hey. Essentially, he executed Officer Williams in cold blood.
Chow and her brother Kwok sprint into the kitchen, pass Kwong and Ha, and hide in the restaurant's refrigerator. Back in the dining room, Lacaze hands Frank the gun. And she is now prepared to kill to get the Vu's money. The terrified Kwong and Ha are trapped.
From inside the cooler, Chow Vu saw Antoinette Frank threatening Chow's brother and sister, who were both begging for their lives.
Tell me where the money is. Where is it?
Frank threatens to kill them if they won't give her the cash.
Still don't want that?
When Kwong won't tell, Officer Antoinette Frank crosses the line from cop to killer. She shoots Ha twice in the head.
Where's the money?
Even cold-hearted hitmen can't do that. It really takes somebody with deep sickness. These are people she knew and actually had served her dinner that night.
Next, Frank trains the gun on Kwong and shoots him in the chest and shoulder. Badly wounded, he reveals where the money is hidden.
In the microwave?
Frank executes him in cold blood.
She went into the microwave oven, recovered the money, somewhere around $10,000.
Antoinette Frank and Rogers Lacaze flee the scene. But they have no idea that hiding behind the glass door of the refrigerator are Chow and Kwok, who saw them in the kitchen and heard the fatal gunshots. When Kwok is sure Frank and Lacaze have left, he runs to dial 911.
Please, just come now.
2 a.m. Police officer Antoinette Frank speeds through East New Orleans. News of the triple homicide is relayed on police radio, murders for which she's responsible. Her intention to get to the scene first is not the selfless act of a committed police officer, but because she needs to eliminate those who will expose her.
She's literally returning to the scene of the crime like they say murderers do, but she's doing it within minutes of committing the crime. She's got to beat the other officers there to kill the only two witnesses that can put her at the scene of the crime at the time of the murders.
Frank arrives first and stalks the restaurant for her prey.
The killer's back. Chow is at the restaurant, totally by herself, surrounded by death, and here is the killer back again.
But before Frank is able to gun her down, fellow cops arrive outside. Chow makes a break for it and runs into the arms of a police officer. Her one-time friend hard on her heels. Chow points at Antoinette Frank. She is the murderer. At their separate trials, the juries find Antoinette Frank and Rogers Lacaze guilty of first-degree murder. They're both sentenced to death. The details of the crime and the identity of one of the perpetrators stun New Orleans.
These murders shocked this city to its foundation and just caused trauma for these two families for years and years.
The case is closed, but questions remain.
The real puzzle to me is how did she make this transition from somebody who certainly had some character flaws and personality issues to being a murderer?
Some believe her downfall stems from her obsession with Rogers Lacaze.
Obviously, there was something that triggered in their relationship that became greater than either one by itself. There was a magnification of the dysfunction between the two of them. Something changed in Antoinette that she became able to put a pistol to someone's head and pull the trigger.
Others see Lacaze as simply the catalyst and believe Frank had disturbing character flaws all along.
There's no question that Antoinette Frank was unqualified to be a police officer. She never should have, been given a badge and a gun.
Either way, Antoinette's childhood dreams of being a police officer came to a bitter and shocking end. Soon after being sworn in as an officer of the law, whose duty is to protect and serve, she committed a most heinous crime. The merciless execution of people who considered her their friend.
What was so shocking is that someone that pretty much everyone would trust, a police officer serving and protecting the public, would walk into a restaurant and just cold-bloodedly be involved in the murder of 3 people, including another police officer. It's like a movie, but it really happened.
Wow. Wow. Isn't that crazy? Oh, I'm so mad about my headphones. I can't believe this. Shit. All right. Hold on, one of my kids. Okay, never mind. Oh, God, my grandson. Oh, jeez, these kids. We were at Dick's Sport World or whatever it's called. Dickens or something. He wants a $400 bat. Are you kidding me? But of course, I'm going to have to pitch in because, I'm grandma. Hold on a minute. Okay. Sorry. I see what happens? My children aren't done with me yet. How is everybody? There we go. I'm back. See, I haven't had time to really do much because I do have documents to show from Florida DOC, but I have to go through them to make sure it's all redacted. $400 for a bat. Okay? That's crazy. But, their grandpa's got way more money than I do because he does. But you know what? It's going to go towards his birthday gift. His birthday's in July, and I just told his mom, I'll do 50 and that's all I can do. So that works. You pay $32 for a salad? Yummy salad. Yeah, but they're making me go broke. I'm just kidding. It is what it is. You know what? You can't take it with you, right? And the kids will remember this kind of stuff. Did you? Yes, it's 73 here. And on Wednesday, it's going to be back to, let me look, I think 30. 30, yeah. Goofy weather. Okay, and this is the other one. Hold on. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. I told my daughter go to Play It Again Sports. Come on now. No, they gotta have everything brand new. Uh-oh. I need season 8. Hold on a minute, people. Season 8, episode 4. Is this one it? Or is this somebody else? Oh, shoot. I don't think. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no. Shoot, 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 you guys. Never mind. It's a different person. The other one I had. Okay, we'll do it later. Oh, shoot. Okay, let me see if Virginia has a show. I thought Virginia did. She does. I think it's Killer Couples. Hold on a minute. Virginia. Let's see. Virginia. Um, what I do know, I think, what show is it? Deadly Women. That's what she's on. But that's on the ID channel, and well, I do not dare go onto the ID channel unless we go to whatchamacallit, Rumble people. Rumble, rumble, rumble. I can get away with it. It's not that I get away with it. It's only fair when you pay for it, right? When you pay for this stuff. So yeah, the thing about Virginia is she's on Deadly Women. Okay, just so you all know. Oh God, I wish. Okay, I'm really bummed out that I have Virginia up there and not the other lady. Oh well, I'll figure it out. 71 there. Oh, is she? I don't know how my daughter does it. She's got 4 boys. The youngest 2 are in wrestling, and then they're going to start baseball. And then the older 2 are in basketball, and they're starting baseball. How is everybody? Good. I'm tired. Want to know why? Because I walked for 3 hours at a mall. All right, I'm trying to find something on Virginia for us because since I brought her up, interesting. See, these cases are so old that it's hard to find anything on them. Here we go. Who's this? Okay, here we go. Here's Dustin. Let's watch this. Oh, it's only 6 minutes or 6 seconds. Shoot. Okay, let's go to this one. He was 15 years old. I think this is it. Hold on a minute.
Accused of murdering 2 men in Elizabethtown and then burning the house down, just got out of prison 4 months ago. Wave News reporter Fernando Garcia Franciscini joins us with details on the past charges.
John, we found in our Wave News archives that 30 years ago in 1994, police arrested Dustin Caudill for the murder of his mother and brother. He was just 15 years old. And our video from that time, you can see it behind me, shows him.
Isn't that the craziest thing ever, people? This is in Kentucky. Virginia has the same last name as Dustin. How weird is that? Hold on a minute. I want to see her accomplice. Hold on a minute, people. Who is her accomplice? Oh, that's right, Jonathan. Jonathan. Okay, let's look at Jonathan. Rogers? Is it Rogers? Hold on. Oh, look at this guy. Listen to me. Let's look at this guy. Okay, that's weird. That's weird that someone with the same last name as her. So here's dude, Jonathan. Same thing. The lady was 73 years old. Come on now. How sad is that? I gotta wash it outside of my truck. It rained so much the other day. I gotta do mine too. I can never. I know. I know. Oh, sorry. I'm so lost without my mom, you guys. I am. Like, I was with my daughter today, and I'm gonna have a talk with her, but it's different. Me and we used to be super, super close. She used to hold Mama's hand. It didn't matter that she was 18. Like, if we'd be at the mall, and she'd want to hang out with her mom. Well, I do things in public to embarrass people. We were in Burlington Coal Factory. Okay, we were walking to go into the mall part, right? This is funny. Okay, Kayla, she's got to act like, the family's like perfect and good, which it isn't reality, right? It really ain't. I'm me wherever I go. Okay, here was a little kid's suitcase, where you grab the handle. So I walked, okay, guys, they're to the right of me, and I took my left hand and I grabbed it like I was coming out of Burlington Coal Factory with it. I did. She's like, I can't take you anywhere. Isn't that funny? She said, I can't take you anywhere. Oh God, I go, I'm not bringing it with us. Oh my God. It is what it is, man. It is. Okay, we're going to be late on later tonight because we're going to watch that one show. I had it all queued up, man, but it was the wrong woman. Oh, I'm tired. Ugh. really have no energy. I'm a lupus flare, and it's like, oh yeah. Oh, I crack me up too. I really don't care. When I'm in public, I say hi to everybody. My grandkids will look at me and say to their mom, Grandma's talking to a stranger. Well, because I taught them, stranger danger. Yeah. But that's for them, not me. All right. Well, I'm going to get going for now. I want to thank everybody for coming through or who watches. And, oh, God, I will get the right woman the next live. Because I have everything of hers ready to go. But Virginia has one. And it's on Deadliest Woman, okay? The oldest man talks to everyone. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go chill. Love you all. And goodbye.